There is no guest, right?
Yeah, there is no guest.
We have
I
a
just
guest. We have a guest. We have Siddharth here.
Okay,
The-
continue. The recording started. Yeah.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to the WMC Toastmasters Meeting. My name is Heda Krishna and I'm your Sergeant at Arms for today. It's great to see you all joining us online. As everybody in their life has a mission to achieve their goals, likewise, our Toastmasters Club also has a mission. The mission of our Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. Few reminders before we get started. Kindly mark your attendance. The link will be shared in our WhatsApp group. Please refrain from discussing topics related to sex, politics, or religion. Please keep your microphones muted and when you are not speaking to avoid background noise and distractions. If you would like to speak or respond to something, feel free to use the raise hand feature or type in the chat box. Please turn off your video if you are stepping out of the meeting. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our club president who will officially open today's meeting. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Prabodha Sarengi.
Good evening, WMCians. Calling the meeting number 490 to order. So today I think we don't have any guest with us. And VP Education, Toastmaster Surabila, is the agenda role players are present all or we still waiting?
No, we have a few of them to join, but then they should be joining soon. I think we can proceed.
We can proceed.
None of them.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, VP Education. I received apologies from Toastmaster KF, Toastmaster Nubin, and Toastmaster Punambalam. And the rest who not able to join, still I did not receive any apologies from them. Anyway. Rewind to 13 is a theme that encourages a nostalgic journey back to the age of 13, a time often filled with discovery, innocence, and pivotal moments. This theme invites you to reflect on who you were at that age, the dreams, the music you loved, and the friendships that shaped which has influenced who you are today. But before we going there, let me remind all of us our gathering as Toastmasters. It is a non-profit educational organization that focuses on helping individuals develop their public speaking, communications, and leadership skills. Founded in the year 1924 by Ralph C. Smedley in Santa Ana, California, it offers a supportive environment where members can practice and improve through structured meetings, speeches, and constructive feedbacks. Toastmaster International's values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And now let me tell you the story of someone did the impossible to I am possible. One of the most inspiring example of someone who started exercising later in life to regain youthfulness. Her name is Ernestine Shepherd, maybe heard about, an extraordinary woman who became a world-renowned bodybuilder after the age of 70. Ernestine Shepherd is an American bodybuilder who is best known for being, at one point, the oldest competitive female bodybuilder in the world, as declared by the Guinness Book of World Record in the year 2010 and 2011. As of 2023, She is 87 years old and still an active bodybuilder. Born in 1936, Einstein, not Einstein, Ernstein, her name is Ernstein. She lived a relatively ordinary life. She was not particularly athletic. And like many people, she did not prioritize exercise for much of her life. However, everything changed when she and her sister decided to take up fitness in their 50s, aiming to stay healthy as they aged. Tragically, after her sister passed away, with sorrow and sadness, Einstein stopped exercising. When she was touching her age 71, Einstein decided to honor her sister's memory by returning to fitness with renewed determination. She started with simple activities such as walking and then gradually progressed to running, weightlifting, and structured bodybuilding. That routine. Her commitment to fitness grew, and so did her strength and vitality. She transformed her body, achieving a level of physical fitness that many people half of her age would envy. By the age of 74, she became the world's oldest competitive female bodybuilder, earning a place in the Guinness World Record. Even more impressive is that she maintained a rigorous daily routine, including running up to 80 miles a week and lifting weights. Her journey inspired countless others, proving that age is just a number. So become a role model, not only for seniors, but people of all ages who wanted to improve their health and fitness. Einstein's life is a powerful reminder that starting exercise later in life can lead to extraordinary results. Her story challenges common perceptions about aging and demonstrate that with dedication and the right mindset, it's possible to regain youthfulness, strength, and vitality no matter when you start, fellow Toastmasters. Now it's time to introduce our Toastmaster of the day. He is still in his early days as a Toastmaster and enjoys taking on new challenges. His fascination with public speaking emerged from his inability to deal with silence in any environment. Improvising and adjusting to new situations boosts his adrenaline so much so that hearing the excom discuss the role of TMOD was almost like music to his ears. He jumped in to take the advantage of this opportunity, demonstrating his enthusiasm for speaking in public. Let us join with Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Don Samuel in Rewind 213.
Thank you, President Toastmaster Prabodha. Usually, it's a Monday morning, roughly 9 a.m., a regular school day, while most of us are still rubbing our eyes in the school morning assembly under the shining rays of sunlight. Some of you are worried of being dressed in proper uniform or of the exam papers that you did not get signed during the week, or even that dreadful teacher whose name you do not wish to remember till date. For me, it was all of them. Well, as India celebrated yet another Teachers' Day yesterday, I would like to take this moment to pay a tribute to all the teachers that have played a role in our lives, both inside and outside the school environment, including this platform of Toastmasters. Those guardian angels who have guided in making us who we are today. Let's have a small moment of silence to pay tribute to them. Rewind to 13. Those teenage days when our life began to turn to be more exciting. Just like how head and tails are two sides of the coin, or a villain is to a superhero. To every angel exists a devil. And speaking of the devil, let me introduce to you the English head of department. Choose your words very wisely, because I guarantee you that our dashing head of department is not going to show you any mercy when he gets going. So let me introduce to you our grammarian, Toastmaster Emmanuel.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Often a grammarian's role is to look at the words used, the style, the metaphors, the analogies, and so on and so forth. And today I'm going to be playing a role of what I otherwise also like to do, which is to keep correcting other people's language very often. English being a language of strength to me, I keep doing this invariably. So I think I'm going to have a good time doing that. The only thing is I'm not quite sure if I'll finish that within the 3 minutes it's given to me, which I usually cross. But that said, I'm really happy to be here and pay attention to all the speakers and the language that's going to be used, quotes, thoughts, sayings, all of that. The word of the day is very closely connected to the topic, which is going back to the past and having to understand something that happened in the past and how we reminisce the past and think if we only could go back to that particular time. And nostalgia is the word that I had chosen just immediately when I was told about the topic, without even having to think about it. A word that I commonly use, but I don't see other people using very often. And I think it's very pertinent to the theme that we've chosen this evening. So I'm also going to keep a tab to see if you use the word, and not only using the word, but using the word in the right sense. Because in the excitement of having to use the words, most speakers end up using the word in the wrong context. So I think English is a very tough language that way. The meaning of the word changes completely according to the context in which it is said. So please ensure the word is used in the right way. And I hope that will be clear, and I'm here to contribute. Thank you so much for having me as the grammarian this day. Thank you, VP Ed and Tay Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Emmanuel. You are truly an angel in disguise. Imagine being just 13 years old and your best friend hands out a cigarette to you for the first time. Not only did our moral science teacher, Toastmaster Norman, cough his lungs out. That was the first and last time. Well, not coughing, but the cigarette. Hoping nobody is hit by such a nostalgia like the puff that hit Dr. T.M. Norman, please welcome the R counter for today, T.M. Norman. Over to you.
Good afternoon to everyone. I am the R counter for today. And the purpose of the R counter is to count the repetitive words like and, but, so, you know, well, and even the pause filler sounds like I know myself that I do repeat all of these words and all, but it so happened that being in Toastmasters life, I became so much cautious now. So if I attend any training or even if I attend any online meetings, so I keep finding the R's and U's of the trainer. For example, for Emmanuel, I have already noted down around 5 R's, 4 so and 4 times. So be careful for all the speakers. So I'm very much cautious and I'll be noting down all your sounds. So all the very best. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Norman. Rewind to 13. Do you remember the sound of the bell? That magical music that got you out of the classroom, into the lunch breaks, the recess, the games periods, and even running all your way home. Well, our next Toastmaster ran between 3 schools and 2 colleges during his days in Madurai, the beautiful city in Tamil Nadu, home of the beautiful Meenakshi Temple for its captivating architecture of solar time system. Please welcome the timer for today, Toastmaster Subramaniam, to brief us on our school timings.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, and thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Okay, good evening to all. Okay, I'm the timer, and like he said, always no, I cannot able to ring the bell now. I'll show my signals in the meeting. So green, amber, and red. Okay. So for the speakers, I'm informing the timing. For the speakers, Sitara and Saji and Kumar and Saji Kumar and Surabila. So all of them have 5 to 7 minutes, the speech time. So 5 minutes, until 5 minutes, I'll be giving a green signal. And 6th minute, starting from 5 to 6, I'll be having from 6th minute, it's amber. And when it reaches 7th minute, it's a red. But this is common for all 3. And for evaluator, it's a 2 to 3 minutes, 2 minutes green, 2.5 minutes amber, and 3 minutes red. And for table topic, it's a total 1 to 2 minutes, 1 minute green, 1.5 amber, 2 minutes red. And all the very best for all the speakers and evaluators. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Subramanian.
Sorry, can you show the light, Subramaniam, when you are saying red, green, and yellow? Just show the light by changing.
Sure, yeah. So the green, can you able to see the signal? Speakers.
Yes.
So green,
Yes.
and this is amber, and here red. So
Okay.
my
Fine.
video will not be visible, only the signals will be visible hereafter.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Subramanian. Hope we end this meeting on time.
Sure.
When
Okay.
I was 13 and running through the busy school corridors, late for my class after the break, yelling something in my mother tongue to get the students out of my way, I landed straight into the welcoming hands of my history teacher. Write a 20-page assignment or bring your parents to school. Well, I did one better. I negotiated with my teacher, to her surprise, and agreed upon taking a seminar in class to a topic that she had yet not covered. It was then that I wondered if sales and marketing was my cup of tea. Just like our beloved teacher, Toastmaster Murali, who eventually chose to follow his passion in teaching and evaluating his students, despite the side hustle of having a business setup named New Designs. Please welcome Toastmaster Murali. Dear Murali, you're not audible.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. I am going to be evaluating Dr. Sitara, Toastmaster Dr. Sitara, and the project that she is doing is level 1, project 2. And the purpose of this project, is to learn or review basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. I wish the speaker the very best. I have to also tell you what the name of the speech is going to be. And that would be, I'm going to open my Nostalgia is a thing. Okay. I actually don't enjoy online meetings, but I'm forced to do it. So here it is, the tale of two cities. I wish the speaker the very best. Go for it. Over to you.
Just like my luck, Toastmaster Murali had the privilege of catching his student bunking classes, and he put the student up to a mighty task. Either choose to be a dancer or a doctor. Only time will let us know where the student ends up. But today, our student has wisely chosen to excel at presentation mastery to the topic, A Tale of Two Cities. Put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Sitara.
Today, I'll be sharing A Tale of Two Cities, a nostalgic story woven into the fabric of my life through the beautiful institution of marriage. Here, you'll witness a young lady realizing that marriage is not uniting two individuals or two families, but two cultures. Good afternoon, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters. I must confess that mine was an arranged marriage. But given all the freedom, I personally chose that well-qualified, handsome-looking guy through a matrimony site and handed over the contact number to my father. This is the first part of the story. But today, I won't be dwelling on how this alliance happened, but on what unfolded after the marriage, focusing on the socio-cultural aspect of a marriage and its impact on a naive girl. Kerala, though seemed to have a very calm vibe from outside, has a very turbulent internal dynamics, where the differentiation into north, mid, and south is not just geographical, but more social and cultural. And here comes me, literally a naive and innocent girl in her mid-20s, who was being married from the serene coastal town of Kozhikode in North Kerala to Kottayam, situated in the heartland of Kerala. And here starts Tale of Two Cities. Though just separated by a travel time of 6 to 7 hours, these two places share very little in common. Speaking about Kozhikode, especially back in those days, everything was quite gentle, calm, and sober. And little did I know that my world was going to take it topsy-turvy with an innocent marriage. The very occasion of my marriage ceremony was like a chatka to me. You may be aware of the pain to dress up as a bride in her prestigious saree, all these intricate jewelry and floral adornments. Now, just imagine undergoing 3 such costume changes with all these extra fittings in a span of 2 to 3 hours, with the camera crew adding to the chaos. This was the first cultural shock I was subjected to, compared to a very simple ritual in my place. But you know something? It was just a tip of an iceberg, a trailer. The movie was yet to follow. Later that evening, when I stepped into my husband's house after a long and tiring road travel, I was welcomed by a love and warmth that was quite loud and overwhelming. While unfamiliar sounds, scents, and culture swirled around me, I tried to find solace in that loud expression of love and acceptance. Then we were taken for dinner. I was served the normal Kerala meals with rice, fish curry, sambar, and fritters. But the taste was so different. I thought I was in some other part of the world. Just say, oh, it's over. Then, next morning for breakfast, I had the very familiar dosha and chutney. Oh my God, how do we manage to make this taste this different? And this story continued with each meal. Oh, excuse me, please don't think that the taste was horrible. It was just new to my palate. And in this culinary adventure, I slowly adapted to the new tastes and flavors. Then came days of home visits, retreats to the newlyweds where we interacted with people. We all spoke Malayalam. But those few dialects, new colloquial usages, idioms, and those fine nuances made me feel like I was lending my ears to something foreign. But with each passing day, I broke this barrier of language and became one among them. But beyond this linguistic and culinary challenges, I was struck by that stark contrast in social dynamics between these two places. How loud and open the people around me were. How they used to have clashes on slightest of the issues where they become expressive and animated and yet have arms around each other the very next moment. Here's another instance that shows the difference in attitude towards certain social biases. There were two girls with same name in my husband's family, where one was being addressed as black and the other as white as a prefix to their name in public. What surprised me the most was that neither the girls nor their loved ones found anything abnormal in this. The thing that was normal to them was kind of shocking to me. But later, I do realize that it was just an aspect of their social conditioning and was never meant to demoralize. As I navigated this new life, I observed very closely the cultural diversity over these two places and learned to embrace the unfamiliar. So I have infinite number of experiences and faces which had been pillars in the journey that I pursued. And I cannot remember those faces without my heart surging with gratitude. It is then we realize that after all, we are all human beings being shaped by our circumstances and social conditioning. And yet, there is immense source of love, compassion, and tenderness within each one of us that transcends boundaries. Yes, compassion and love are universal, reveals this tale of two cities. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sitara. Well, I wish I could say that was a very nostalgic speech to me, but marriage is a territory that is yet to be explored by me, although I could relate to quite a lot of references of traveling. Thank you for that elaborate speech. Next up, our victim has fallen into the hands of our brainstorming school PR and faculty, Toastmaster Vivek, who despite his love for IT and engineering, takes a tremendous effort to keep the school alive on all social platforms, even going an extra mile to let us know how other schools do in the district and club. And sometimes even how our students perform in other inter-school meetings, just like how our beloved teacher, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim, had done yesterday. So without further ado, I call upon Toastmaster Vivek.
Thank you, Headmaster, for today, Toastmaster Don. Today, Dr. Saji would be giving a speech in the using presentation software project. Let's start with the timing. The timing for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose statements are, the purpose of this project is for the member to introduce or review basic presentation software strategies for creating and using slides to support or enhance a speech. The purpose of the speech is for the member to demonstrate his or her understanding of how to use the presentation software, including the creation of slides and incorporating the technology into a speech. I cannot wait to see what Dr. Saji has in store for us. All the best to you, Dr. Saji, and over to you.
Well, our next student shows quite an interest in pursuing engineering like his teacher has, doing wonders with numbers and math. But since every assignment he writes looks more like gibberish, I see a promising future for Toastmaster Saji as a doctor. Please welcome Toastmaster Saji to speak upon Know Your Chicken.
Is my screen and audio okay? Am I audible and my screen is visible?
Audio is okay. You are visible, but your head is not visible.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better.
Mummy, I am very fed up of daily upma and dosa. Give me something more. I want chicken. I want burger. I want chicken. No, my son. I received so many messages on my WhatsApp. Chicken is very dangerous. No, 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 no. They're full of hormones. They're full of injections. No, no, no. Mommy, haven't you heard of Dr. Saji? I think he is giving one talk in WMC Toastmasters about this. Let's go and check with that. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Today, we'll be knowing what is KYC. You might be knowing KYC in the banks, that is know your customer. So today we are checking what is your chicken. I ran a poll before the talk yesterday. So how many are eating non-veg? Eating chicken particularly. So the poll total were 18. 66% gave yes and 33% gave no. I'll just start with the disclaimer. Food choices are individual preferences. And my aim is only to debunk the myths around the chicken only. So let's get started. Okay. What are the dangers of broiler chicken? The word broiler is only, the broiler mean chicken grown up for meat purpose. It grows very fast in 4 to 6 weeks. Usually we see around 2-3 months, but this grows very fast in 4 to 6 weeks. They're being given hormone injections. They cause girls to attain puberty fast. Let's drive these facts whether they are right or wrong. If you just ask me in one sentence, one word, the answer would be, let's dive detail. Let's see one by one. What is broiler and why it is growing fast? The main reason is selective breeding or artificial selection. What is selective breeding or artificial selection is, in every population, there will be people with smaller traits. And if you're telling about the height or growth, there were people with the smaller ones, smaller growth potential with a higher growth potential. So you take the people, the traits with the higher growth potential, artificially breed them over generations. You will get a breed will have a higher growth potential. So this broiler is a result of series of artificial selection giving higher growth rates to have a chicken which is ready to in a table within 4 to 6 weeks. And after the breeding, which is very common, is the diet. Chickens are fed with a high carbohydrate, calorie dense, grain based diet. These are all in proportion, it is in a which proportion more of carbohydrates with a little of protein, which is good enough to make our anabolic hormones to grow bigger and they can achieve their final output. Other than that, they are fed continuously. They keep on eating because their only job is to eat, sleep, eat, sleep, eat, sleep. So continuous feeding, high carbohydrate, calorie dense diet is the other reason. Then the most common, the mobility. This is how most of the farms will be. They have barely any space to move. So less mobility is another reason for their rapid growth. At the end, you will have a very lazy, tired, obese chicken. Okay, what are the lessons we can learn from the chicken? We have seen broiler chicken is a result of selective breeding, high carbohydrate, calorie dense based diet, and less mobility. If I can equate this to the current situation, you can see these are all exactly the reasons for obesity. The main reason is genetics. If you have obese prone genes, you will end up in obese. The diet, high carbohydrate, calorie dense diet, you will end up in obese. And the last, activity, less activity. So these are the lessons we can learn from chicken to arrive at obesity reasons. Then now it's myths versus facts time. Rapid growth, I have mentioned all three are the reasons for rapid growth. And hormone injections. Basically, no, chickens like growth hormones and estrogens are not used. What are used are the vaccinations and antibiotics. They are closely grown, so they get infection soon. So they're given antibiotics and vaccinations so that they don't get sick and they don't the illness don't spread to the other chickens. And we don't need artificial hormones. Body produces anabolic hormones. You just need a genetic trait and a diet so that anabolism kicks in and you will get a big chicken. Early puberty, the main reasons are abundant food availability, excess calories, and anabolic hormone, and it is irrespective of the diet preferences. So, if you know your KYC, you know whether you can eat the KFC or not. KFC, you can eat chicken, but if it comes with other high-calorie foods, it is a strict no. So whoever is winner is a chicken dinner. This pings of a nostalgic of the game. Oh, I think it is okay. Thank you. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saji, for that enlightening speech. I definitely had a nostalgic moment reminding me of my biology teacher back from school. With that said, I would like to introduce a guest that we have joining us for the meeting. Toastmaster Farouk Kadir, I hope you could introduce yourself in few words.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. And my name is Ghulam Farhaz Kadir. I have been frequently invited to WMC, and this is the first time I'm just coming on my own without any role. So I'm glad to do that. I'm sitting back and enjoying myself, and that is great. Great to be here, sir. Thank you.
It's our pleasure to have you with us, sir. Moving forward, a calm and composed teacher with a subtle sense of humor is every student's delight. From being schooled in the iconic city of Mumbai to graduating from the university in Kasaragod, Kerala, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim has spotted his student minding her own business during his physics classes. Please let us welcome Toastmaster Abdul to brief us on how he will reward his student next.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dawson, my dear fellow Toastmasters, most honorable guests. Well, after listening to two very interesting speeches, coming up yet another beautiful speech, ladies and gentlemen. And the project objectives is for the member to practice the skills needed to effectively communicate change to a group or an audience or an organization. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's look forward to yet another great speech from Dr. Surabila. I wish the speaker all the best. Over to you, Toastmaster Dawson.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdul. We all have that one friend who does business management, or in other terms, minds their own business despite their surroundings. Is it laws of attraction, or is it resistance to the subject of physics? Well, I do not know. Toastmaster Surabila herself will explain that to you in her speech titled Beyond Resistance. The floor is all yours, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Thank you. I happened to read the news recently. The moon, the constant companion in the night sky, has begun its slow retreat, inching further away from Earth. As the moon's distance grows, so will the length of days. What is now a comfortable 24-hour cycle will hopefully stretch into an eternity. People who struggle to adjust to the longer days, their routines will be thrown to disarray. Poets who find inspiration in the moon's silvery light will write longing for the moon's former glory, a nostalgic time when its light had guided the lovers and the dreamers. And that mom who waits for the moon to feed her son under its silvery glow and frame all stories with moon as the hero will have to wait a bit more longer. Centuries-long routine and ways may have to be changed. The universe conspired. Respected Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, good evening, everyone. Change is a modification or a transformation in an existing system or a process, which is continuous. And we are often resistant to change, and we don't realize that change itself is constant. Even if you resist or avoid, it happens. When we initiate the change ourselves, it's pretty easy to adapt to it, since it's a wanted one. Challenging the status quo can help us transform ourselves and increase the emotional and physical well-being. But people usually feel apprehensive about pushing the envelope. I will depict lives of two people in my life whose resistance to change was, or still is, as firm as a rock. And by breaking through this fortress, they should actually undergo significant transformations. And fortunately, the first story highlights, it's not a story, it's an incident, highlights personal growth and development that resulted from overcoming this resistance to change. But second, unfortunately, is not. Chapter 1, my mother. Oh, why don't you just give a try? Oh, it's too hard. I have heard this conversation between my parents as in a loop for quite a long time during my childhood. And the context is, my mother had a promotion pending since long, which can be earned only on clearing a department test. She continued to be a typist by choice in her office. Not that we had the financial luxury of making this choice, but she was not ready to move out of the comfort zone to prepare herself to face the exam. She prolonged it for years until in 2000, the year 2000, government issued an order mentioning that government offices will be computerized and typewriters will be replaced by computers. Learning computer at this age, she opted for the former one. She wrote the test, got promoted to the next grade. My mother is a metaphor that people often resist change when it is voluntary or perceived as less urgent. However, when faced with a more significant or unavoidable change, they may be more willing to adapt and embrace new challenges. In essence, the threat of a greater loss can sometimes be a powerful motivator for change. Chapter 1 ends. Chapter 2, my son. I have never seen my son taking a book out of his bag to study. Exam time, regular school days doesn't make a difference to him. He goes out to play with his friends who are of different age category. They all have tuitions or study time. Some come to play before tuition, some after tuition. But my son will be at the ground to team up with any one of them coming up at any time. He literally doesn't have anything to study. I hardly realize his exam days unless exams run parallelly for my daughter, because literally no evident changes in his study pattern at home. Recently, during the midst of their final exam, the last year exam, one day he was planning for a movie night, justifying that the next day was a study break. And to which I asked him, don't you have exams tomorrow? He, in his inbuilt innocence, quoted with confidence, told me, no, Amma, parso, which means not tomorrow, day after. My daughter also did not have an exam that day, which made it a voluntary choice for the alarm to beep at 5 in the morning. We were long sleeping. And that morning at 6:45, I woke up receiving a call from our bus driver, his school bus driver, checking if he was going to school. No, Baya, he don't have exam today, I told him. He sent me the 7th grade timetable and told me, ma'am, they have exam today. I leaped out of my bed and I woke up my son and asked, don't you have exam today? Amma, I told you it's parsom. The confidence still persists. His voice carried a hint of annoyance at being disturbed so early on a holiday. But soon he realized that he had to go to school, and he got ready and got into the car. Didn't get time to check the timetable yet. While driving, he asked me in a feeble voice, Amma, can I have your phone? Of course, to check which exam it was for him that day. Discovered that it was English exam. He went for the exam. In his innate calmness, he went and came back, wrote his exam and came back. And in the evening when I tried to open a discussion regarding this, he, in his authentic way, he told me, Amma, it's okay. I didn't miss the exam like last time. So you understand. And I will score full marks. Since then, he is officially our Parsom boy. Wondering whether chapter 2 is the right example when we discuss about need to change? Yes, it is. Even though he calls his laziness or carelessness as a selective participation, that is how he terms it, life will definitely give him lessons when he will have to go beyond this resistance to change. Thus, for all of us, if you do not create change, change will definitely create you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Surabila, for that enlightening speech. Now, I think it's time for a short break, but going slightly away from the agenda, we would be having rather 5 minutes than the usual 10, because I don't think we are going to get time for indulging in conversations. So let's see you all back in 5 minutes.
But before we go back or go out of your screen, I would like to have a photo, you know. So all of you switch on your screen and you know, put up a thumbs up. So okay, all ready? Yeah, fine. I don't see the timer, but okay. Yeah, timer is also there. Okay, got it. We might take one more when the Toastmaster Farhaz is here, because I'm not seeing him yet. So when he is there, we will get him in as well. So take your tea and then come back, and we will resume.
Everyone's video just went off.
How are you, Toastmaster Vivek? How is everything? Good.
Things are good, sir. How about you?
I'm fine. Everything's good.
I saw Sarah Ibrahim walk in and then walk out.
Yeah, I think they'll wait for the agenda. They'll come back at 5 or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me just.
I really enjoyed the fun that you are having today. Nice speeches.
Now the silver fox will come in from Sri Lanka, and then we'll see what fun he has in store for us.
Yeah, I know. He's joining. To speak of the devil, and he's there.
Yeah.
I heard somebody call me a devil.
Yeah, somebody called you silverhead. I added the word devil to it.
I know who called me silverhead. I know who called me devil. You devil.
You know, before I used to know you as Gandalf the Grey. Now you are Saruman the White.
What the hell is that, man?
Gandalf and Saruman are both from Lord of the Rings. I don't know.
Eventually,
Eventually
Gandalf becomes the white, right?
Yeah, that's the.
Okay, now I got an appropriate background, so I can put it on. Hello, how is everybody?
Wow.
Great.
I know for sure this is not your study.
This is my house, man. This is my little apartment, but it's a picture of it. It looks good, right? Tell the truth.
Looks good.
Very nice.
If you need any interior decoration, designing and stuff, please call me. I will be happy to help out.
With only images, huh?
Oh, bruh. When you have a place of your own, you can try out anything.
It has that very strong cigar club vibes.
Without the cigars, of course. No. So how are things? How is everybody? How is Bahrain?
Bahrain is as hot as you remember it.
Hot and humid.
Same as Colombo, bro. Same as Colombo. Let me open my window behind so I can get some breeze in.
Farhaz, welcome to WMC.
Thank you, Abdurrahim here. How are you? Good to see your picture at least.
Good evening, Farhaz. Farhaz, how are you?
Good evening to you too.
Good evening.
I'm in a different place. Too much noise going on. So sorry to mute myself.
Hi, Farhaz.
Hey, what's up, man? Long time no see.
You must be enjoying Sri Lanka.
Enjoying is subjective, but yeah, the answer, simple answer is yes.
Are you enjoying, but they are not enjoying you?
Well, I don't know about them because I don't go around asking people, do you enjoy me being here? It's unnecessary trouble.
Smart move.
Okay, headmaster is, getting
Yeah.
back into action.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got scared as I saw that. Oops.
Please continue.
I
Sir,
hope everyone's back.
I just want to ask, Toastmaster Prabodha, you are made the host. So can you actually give the co-host privileges to DTM Farhaz in case he wants to share the slide? Now we can start.
Are we good? Welcome back, everyone. We have in the midst of us Mr. Farhaz Farouk, a distinguished Toastmaster who has achieved numerous accolades in public speaking, including being a table topic and evaluation champion at the district level, showcasing his strong communication and interpersonal skills. DTM Farhaz Farouk is also a seasoned management and business consultant with a rich background in finance, chartered accountancy, and leadership, who has demonstrated his ability to oversee operations, risk management, and strategic planning. It is indeed my privilege to welcome DTM Farhaz Farouk. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for that crisp and very generous introduction, I must say. Thank you very much for that. I am quietly looking for the file to open it. Yes, it is in the process of being opened as we speak. So friends, while PowerPoint is being prepared according to my screen, we're going to talk about impromptu speaking, about table topics specifically, and what to expect. Now, I will look at this mainly from a club point of view, but you can also apply the techniques that I will be discussing today, even for your contests and for your preparations for contests as well. So we will cover all of that. Just a quick clarification before I start. How long do I have for this session? I know somebody told me, but I forgot.
So we have roughly 45 minutes.
40 minutes, not 45, 40 minutes. And the timing, sir, you can manage your timing. If you want
I will.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll manage the timing on my phone here.
Right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Right. So, friends, so we are about to talk about impromptu speaking, and essentially, impromptu speaking is something that we will need almost on a daily basis. It will kind of happen. It has to, just not in our clubs. It's a skill that we'll need to work on almost on a daily basis in our day-to-day living. So it's a skill worthwhile to learn, and worthwhile to practice. Right. Now I got my timer on as well, so let's get on. Friends, when you are faced with impromptu speaking, is this how you feel? If this is how you feel, then you are not alone. Almost everybody in the world feels this way. And as you can see, I have tried to keep a gender balance as well as an age balance in constructing this slide. Because, we are in this modern world. I don't want to get into trouble with anybody. You only said... So, anyway, if you are appearing like this, all I can tell you is, don't worry, you're not alone. Everybody has such feelings. Everybody feels this way at some stage or the other. And how we handle situations like this without actually appearing is what this whole session is about. And in doing so, we will appear to be in a lot more in control of what's happening, a lot more in control of those conversations, and be able to project a more confident and a competent image of ourselves. So that's the whole idea behind this. So let's quickly get to business. These are the initial steps. I want to run through the initial steps fast so that we get to the techniques, and that's where we'll be spending a lot more time in our discussion. First and foremost, dear friends, listen to the topic. That's tip number one, and probably the most important tip. If we do not listen to the topic, we are going to assume something is the topic and start talking about that, and with that, finito. By the way, I must tell you, in a particular contest, I have seen a person who has been a Toastmaster for 100 years. When I say 100 years, you know what I mean. For almost forever, getting the topic completely wrong and talking about this, and everybody in the audience now is feeling like singing, oh man, poor guy, he listened to, he didn't get the topic and he's going on a complete tangent. We were all talking about potatoes and tomatoes and all of that, and he is talking about Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto. It was that apart. So that's how important it is to listen. Even last year at a division contest here in District 82, when I was participating, a simple misunderstanding of one word made the difference between who won and who did not get placed. And the word was conscience. You know the word conscience? C-O-N-S-C-I-E-N-C, conscience, you know what we feel. But if some of the people heard the word conscience as conscious, unconscious, fainting. So you can imagine the amazing responses we got from the people who were speaking about conscious instead of conscience. Sometimes it can be as tricky as that, especially when it gets to division and district. Those kind of words make the difference between whether you get placed or whether you just form the numbers. All right, so listen to the topic. After we listen to the topic, we need to pause. Don't immediately start speaking. Sometimes it is so much over there, like, oh yeah, I know this, this topic is very familiar, and you feel like you need to immediately start speaking. Don't. Resist that temptation. I'll tell you why. If you immediately start speaking, you're going to speak on what you thought the topic was, instead of thinking about what the topic is and then opening your mouth. You see the difference? If you immediately start speaking, the chances are you are going to start speaking. After 1 minute, you will run out of things to say. And after 1 minute is the time where your brain goes blank. So please resist the temptation to start speaking immediately. Take 2-3 seconds. Take that breather. Give your brain time to comprehend what that topic is. And after that, once you have understood what that is, and once you have comprehended what it is, then do that power statement. And that power statement is simply just standing in the middle of the stage. You heard a topic, you have kept quiet for like 3 or 4 seconds. And after doing that, you look at the audience in their eyes and go, you are telling everybody who's the boss, who's in control right now. That is it's a power pose. You need to throw that smile out. Of course, you will only smile if you're confident. So make sure you are. That's why you need to stop, listen, pause, and think about the topic, and then do the smile. After you do the smile, you're still in the stage, in that central spot. Just glance through the audience. Glance through the audience. Spend another 2-3 seconds glancing through them. trying to make eye contact with a few friendly faces. That's called the speaker stance. And why do you do that? That's again a power position. You get complete control of the entire audience before you have said even one word. And then you start speaking. All of this thing takes usually about 4 to 6 seconds. Really, that's all it takes. But that 4 to 6 seconds will be the difference between you delivering a strong, well thought of, competent, confident response and something that ends up in a gargled up mess after about 1 minute. Okay, so take your time. Once you have gone through this little psychology game, then you start with saying, hello, how are you? To the table topics master. Salutation. Table topics master if it's a club meeting, contest chair or contest master if it's a contest, whatever it be, get the salutation out of the way. I always do it first of all. You know why? Because I always forget. If I try to do this classy thing about an apple a day keeps the doctor away, I forget to say Mr. Contest Master or Mr. Table Topic Master after that. So because of that, I do the salutation first. Yeah, my brain is a little weird, it forgets things very fast. So I do this first. However, if you are able to say an opening statement and then address the person, please do that. If you are like me and forget, do the salutation and get it done and over with. When last week at a club meeting, we had 7 table topics commentators, only 2 addressed the table topics master. And the general evaluator made it a point to say, guys, all of your responses were amazing. However, sad to say, 5 of you did not address the table topics master. They forgot. I started off, Mr. Table Topics Master, thank you very much for this amazing topic. Blah, blah, blah. Started off, finished, tick. So if you are somebody who will forget, do this and get it out of the way. Remember, at a contest, all these small things count. And you can practice this from clubs. Next, let's get to the opening. You remember, the table topics response is a speech. You need to have an opening, you need to have a body, you need to have a conclusion. The opening has to be strong. Something that will make a difference. I'll give you techniques of opening in the next slide, but you need to have a strong opening. You need to express your point of view, whatever it may be, and most crucially, stay within time. You only have 2 minutes plus 30 seconds. 2 minutes, 30 seconds is all you have. It may seem like a long period if you have got messed up your thinking, but otherwise 2 minutes, 30 seconds is all you have. It's very easy to go over time. Right, friends? So those are like some initial tips. And I guess whilst it may seem trivial, these are all very important to make sure that we make a difference as we get on stage. Now let's get to the all-important opening. This is where we make or break our response. It's all 2 minutes and it's all done. If we have a strong opening, these 2 minutes are going to be the difference. If we don't have a strong opening, the chances are we will begin to lose the audience straight from the word go. So we need to follow a few things. First and foremost, and most importantly, we have to focus on the topic. I mean, it seems like the most relevant, correct thing to do, but believe me, lots of people miss focusing on the topic. Even if we listen, sometimes we don't focus on the topic. If the topic is asking us a question, you will need to answer that question. If the topic is asking for an opinion, we need to give our opinion. If the topic says, is this right or wrong? We have to tell them whether it is right or wrong. That's why it's important to listen to the topic very carefully. And in that context, a word of advice to topics masters and those who are going as contest masters at contests, please don't have long stories as your topics. Have something that is short, easy, and general in nature. Because this contest is not about you as contest master, it's about the contestants who are trying to show what they can do. So we should never lose that focus. I know some contest masters come and try to show how great and erudite and educated they are and how stupid the contestants are. Please don't be that contest master. I have seen enough. Even in District 20, I have seen enough. They will bring statements from long years back and it is like 40 or 50 words. Come on, boss. Not fair. Don't do that. Right? So this is for the contest masters. Now coming back to the speakers, focus on the topic. Please focus on the topic. How do we make this start? 3 things to remember, and these are my 3 go-to. Either we start with a quotation that is related to the topic, or an anecdote, which is like a personal story that is related to the topic, or ask a question that is related to the topic. Now, let us say the topic is an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Let's say that's the topic. Please comment. Topics master says. Then let's think of it. What could be a quotation that is related to an apple a day keeps the doctor away? You can say, ladies and gentlemen, this topic reminds me of that famous quote, health is wealth. And that's one way to start off. Or you can tell a story, a personal story related to an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Friends, there was a time when I was not careful about what I consumed. And with that, I took on weight. And with that, I also took on unnecessary illnesses. But luckily, at a certain point in time, I was smart enough to change my diet. And then I became a lot more healthy. Has it happened to you? Anecdote and a question. Or you can actually reframe the topic. The topic is an apple a day keeps the doctor away. You can come to the audience and say, ladies and gentlemen, having an apple a day, does it actually keep the doctor away? You ask the question. Now people are thinking, Atto, we never thought about this side of the story. No. Yes, everybody says apple a day keeps the doctor away, but do we have to have an apple a day to keep the doctor away? This is a different spin. So you see, that's how you can twist and turn. So you can use a quotation, a personal story, and a quick one, and then, or a question. Now remember, all of this needs to be done very quickly. I will give you some ideas about timing. Towards the end of this presentation, I'll give you some ideas about how much timing to use. But remember, all of this should be on the topic, and this is opening. This should be done very quickly. We have only 2 minutes plus 30 seconds. So 2 minutes, 30 seconds. It's a bit risky to go 2 minutes 30. So aim at 2 minutes, 15 seconds. That's all the time that you really have. So spend very little time, quick quotation, quick anecdote or a quick question, and quickly move to the body. As another risk in hanging on in the opening too long. And that risk is even bigger. What is the risk? If we hang around in the opening too long, our brain, mashallah, it quickly, after a certain time, he starts getting lots of ideas from here, from there. He will get an idea from China, another idea from Zimbabwe, and he will say, hey, Farhaz, try this, try this, try this. And then we start getting confused. If we spend too much of time on the opening, we do not do ourselves a favor to keep our response focused, because our brain then starts getting so many brain waves. It brings so many signals, and then we think, oh, good, shall I talk about this and shall I talk about that? We are standing there, we are speaking, but we are thinking about what to say. By 1 minute, 10 seconds, we are completely confused. And that's when you see sometimes speakers go at a tangent because they spend too much time on the opening. Please don't. One thing is we don't have time. Second thing is it's a risky thing to spend too much time here because we will lose our way. Because the real marks come over here in the body. And because this is the important thing and I am not important, I'm going to become small and get to a corner so you all don't concentrate on me and you can concentrate on what's on the board here. On the body, in the body, you need to build on the topic. This is where you make your logic count. This is where you build your logic. And how do we do this? I follow certain patterns. Either I use a story, a personal story, something that has happened to me. And by using personal stories, the advantage is it can be authentic. It can be credible because it has truly happened. And I'll tell you one thing, 99% of the topics that are thrown, I can guarantee you something would have happened to us in our lives that is related to that topic. And again, I will give you some ideas and tips on how to bring this linking later. But personal stories are a good sell. Let's say your life was not as eventful and there isn't much of a personal story for you to pull out, then look for something that has happened to somebody famous or something that famously happened that is related to the topic. And let's say your knowledge is a little bit shallow and you don't really know about people or things that is happening or has happened, then look for history or current affairs related to the topic. Once again, let's go back to our favorite topic: an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Personal story. Friends, I have been struggling with a weight problem for the most part of my life. And believe me, I used to eat all kinds of unhealthy food until da. And eventually, one day, I woke up with a very bad case of gastritis, which progressed to something else and something. By the way, these are all real stories, and when I'm in a real table topic, I'll say all that. At the end, when I consulted my doctor had no choice but to put me on a strict diet plan. And he said, if you don't follow this diet plan, I can guarantee you that by the age of 35, you will be dead. This one jolt woke me up, my dear friends. And I made my mind up to eat healthy diet. That's a personal story. Maybe you can think about famous people. And the fellow who I can think of about successful health control and weight control is none other than the one and only Adnan Sami. If you think about him, lift kara, he's huge. But if you Google Adnan Sami now, he's slim with a flat belly. That's a famous person. Lots of people know him. So that's famous people, famous events. Or we could talk about COVID-19. It actually happened. And during COVID-19, we saw, unfortunately, lots of people who had things called comorbidities, like they had inherent heart problems or pressure and stuff like that. They were at a higher risk of succumbing to COVID-19 than those who maintained a healthy lifestyle. So that's something that we can throw. And history and current affairs, once again over here, we can think about various past pandemics and what have you, and how many people actually succumbed who were leading unhealthy lives, or generally what's the difference between people living unhealthy lives and healthy lives and their life strength and life longevity. We can talk about things like that. See, this is how we build on the topic. Whatever we do, whether we select personal stories, famous events, people, or history, current affairs, once again, remember, my friends, we have only 2 minutes and 15 seconds to play with. Stick to one idea. If you are pulling Adnan Sami, only stick to Adnan Sami. You have no time to talk about somebody else. You have no time. If you are talking about COVID-19, stick to COVID-19 because you don't have time to talk about anything else. That's key. That's crucial. This is not a prepared speech of 5 to 7 minutes. We have only 1 to 2 minutes. We cannot have 3 stories, opening and conclusion. That formula will not work here. One strong story. That's it. Okay, friends? So stick to one idea. Once again, if we don't stick to one idea, that earlier problem will come up. Brain will go all over. We will get confused. And then you see people stopping to speak or starting to think or appearing confused. So please stick to one idea. This is crucial. Don't ever be tempted to jump from this to this just to show that I know more. It's not the whole point. Whole point is opening body conclusion. Are we able to tackle this topic in 2 minutes? That's the whole point. Right. Let me now get out of the way and quickly get to conclusion. Very important part of a table topic answer, of an impromptu answer, but sometimes neglected because lots of us wait until it is too late to get to the conclusion. I know we wait until we see the red light to start the conclusion. Lots of us. Don't do that. Big mistake. I will tell you when you should start the conclusion. About timing, let me touch on it later. Don't wait till the red light. Give enough time for the conclusion. We need to have enough time for the conclusion because in the conclusion, there are 4 things that are being looked for. One is, do we reiterate the topic? Why is it important to reiterate the topic? There is something called callback in public speaking. We are showing the judges, we are showing the audience that we can call back. We start with the topic, we end with the topic. That is called a callback technique. So we need to reiterate. We need to respond. If the topic was a question, we need to answer that question. If the topic was asking opinion, we need to give our opinion. If the topic is a general statement, we have to state what we feel about. So that response is being seen, looked for. Third thing, are we giving a call to action? Like for instance, ladies and gentlemen, once you get out of this door today, all I want you to do, as you leave this door and close it behind, I want you to jump. So they should go out and jump. That call to action should be that strong. They should own that call to action. That is the third thing that you should look for. And the fourth thing, and very important, especially from a contest perspective, is we need to motivate the audience to improve. Because it's not simply a question of us speaking for 2 minutes. At the end of the 2 minutes, we have reiterated the topics, responded, we have given them a call to action, which should be in a way for them to improve and uplift their life. That is crucial. That one thing alone will differentiate between getting a podium finish, for second, third, or not being placed. Motivate your audience. Motivate your audience with your call to action. Right? So that's as far as the conclusion is concerned. So we have got the opening, body, conclusion. I am at the halfway mark for my timing. So timing is reasonably well. Let me move on to the strategies. This is crucial. How do you respond? This side here, when I say point and reason, you can consider this as the opening of your speech. And this point over here, you can consider it as your closing, as your conclusion. So that is your opening, that is your conclusion. In the opening, you know how to start. Quote, anecdote, question, and quickly move on from there. So you raise the point, you give your reasoning, which is the quote, the anecdote, or the question that you ask, that will lead to what is being said in the body. What do you do in the body of your response? This is where this list of techniques will come in handy. The first one is simple, and I will tell you almost 80% of the time I go for experience. My personal experience, my life, what happened to me, what I learned out of that, what I should do, what I should not do. I got hammered, I got beaten, I fell into a hole, I injured myself, I broke my leg, whatever. These are all personal experiences. And this will help us for most of the table. Then there are slightly advanced versions of experience. You can talk about before and after. Earlier I was fat, I almost died. Now I have changed my diet, so now I am healthy, kind of a thing. So before it is this, after it is this. And by the way, even for history, things like using like history, current affairs, you can use before and after technique reasonably well. Before it was like this, now it is like this. Again, if you think of COVID-19, before we knew what it was, all of us were stuck at home. We had no idea what to do. We didn't know how long we will be stuck at home. But after they found a cure, or not a cure, but a vaccination for it, and it started being rolled out, life started limping back to normal. So that's an example of before and after. So this is how we can apply before and after, and some of the topics this will work. The next technique that we can employ is to talk about the positives and the negatives, the pros and the cons of the topic. If the topic is an apple a day keeps the doctor away, you can talk about the positives of that and the negatives of that. For instance, if an apple a day keeps the doctor away is a metaphor, is an analogy for eating healthy or eating only one type of food sources, perhaps the negative side of it is that adequate to maintain a healthy diet? So that is a way to counter argue if you want to. So pros and cons. So this is how you would argue that out. The next thing that I do is past, present, and future. And I use this technique, I remember, very successfully at a division contest, and it worked amazingly well. And I still remember because that was one of my most memorable table topic performances. The topic was human beings have been, throughout history, human beings have been creators, not destroyers. Please comment. That was the topic. Throughout history, human beings have been creators, not destroyers. Please comment. And I don't know how, I just got quick inspiration and I told that we started living our life in the jungles And then we realized that living near the trees was not safe enough. So we moved into caves. From caves, we started creating small villages. That villages became towns and then eventually nations. And those nations progressed as to what we are today. So yes, during this entire history, time and again, we have started fighting with each other. But for the most part of history, we have been building and we were destroying each other only for short periods of time. Right? I said, today we are in this particular status, but you never know. Even if you go to the future as well, we'll continue to grow on and off. We may fight with each other, but we will grow. So this was the way I argued. Then I brought a history. I said, at the end of the Second World War, Japan was completely annihilated, including dropping of 2 atomic bombs into 2 of their cities. Within a short period of time, comparatively in history, Japan rose from a completely destroyed nation to, at that time, it was the second largest economy in the world. So despite all the destruction, it only took about 30 years for Japan to once again become the second largest economy in the world. So friends, if this is what humans can do, I strongly believe humans are more creators than destroyers. And then I gave a call to action and a message. If ever you are facing with this choice, please always remember, this is what we are good at doing and not the other thing. So please continue to be creators, not destroyers. So that's how that was argued, past, present, and future. Then the next technique, this is more very, very philosophical technique. You know, we have heard of cause and effect theory. Because of this, this happened. Because of this, this happened. Because of this, that's called cause and effect theory. For a table topic to work, no point of just saying because of this happened, we should also give a solution. So that is why I have added the third word. So cause and effect is the theory. Remedy is my addition to it. You have to also give a remedy. That will make the table topic response complete. If you just say cause and effect, big deal. What do I do with that? But remedy is where you give your solution to that cause and that impact. So these first 5 techniques are actually very good techniques. You can use them and you will be reasonably successful if you use these first 5 techniques. But let us assume the topic is so far-flung that you can't think of anything. You can't think of a personal story or history or before and after. None of this you can think. The least you can do is express your opinion. So at least you can think about that. At least express your opinion. So that's the least you can do. If none of the top 5 techniques are going to work, at least express your opinion. Collectively, these 6, which are in the brackets here, these 6, I will make myself big to show you which 6 they are. These ones are positive techniques. And this is what you should use as much as possible. There is one negative technique I have put in a black box at the bottom of the page. This is a negative technique. Let us assume you completely went clueless. You didn't understand or you can't think of an experience before and after, nothing. You cannot even express your opinion. The topic is so outlandish, nothing can be done. Then as a last resort, you can deflect. They ask about potatoes, you talk about the camel. They ask about monkeys, you talk about camel. They talk about Netherlands, you talk about camel. They talk about Jupiter, you talk about camel. But this is a negative technique. The only time you can hopefully win with this is if all the other candidates, all the other contestants also did not understand the topic. And I can tell you one thing, if the topic is outlandish, most likely everybody is struggling, not just you. All right, so that's that. But however, just use it as a last resort. I don't favor it, but sometimes if you have no other option, you will have to use it. But if you're using this as a last resort, always remember to maintain opening body conclusion. At least that way you will get some marks or the other. And then you only have to pray that hopefully all the other candidates also were struggling like me, so I get the most of the least marks. All right, fine. So those are the strategies, my dear friends. If you want, you can take a quick picture of this before I change the page and so on. Right. Now let me move on. Now we'll get to Mr. Timer, Mr. or Madam Timer. Is this fellow a friend or an enemy? Friend or foe? We always think timer is an enemy, but for me, timer is always my friend. I use the timer to my advantage. Whether it's in a club meeting or whether it's in a contest, I use the timer to be my guide. To tell me, okay, Farhaz, now you are maintaining time very well, so you will finish within time. In the context of table topics, how do I use the timer? This is how I use the timer. from the start to the green light, remember we have 1 minute. By the time the green light has come on, you should have actually finished your opening, which is 10 to 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, and you should have done your story, your body. Whether it is a personal story or a current affair, famous person, history, geography, whatever, that should be done over here. Using whatever strategy, experience strategy or the pros and cons, before and after, past, present, future, expressing your opinion or cause and effect and remedy, whatever it is, all of that ideally should be done by the time the green light comes. Ideally. But sometimes you may not be able to get it. But as soon as you see the green light, you should know I should be finishing my body. So opening done, body part also done by the time you see the green light. Next, you have 30 seconds until the yellow comes. You should be finishing the body and you should actually start your conclusion. This is why I said, don't wait till you see the red light to start your conclusion, because then you have only 30 seconds at the most to do your conclusion. Usually it will be very rushed and you'll finish it off. It doesn't add value. Start your conclusion at the latest by the time the yellow light comes. And if that happens, friends, you actually have almost 1 minute to do a good conclusion. Because remember, in the conclusion, I advise you try to have 4 things. Reiterate the topic, respond to it, call to action, and motivate the audience. You need to do these 4 things. And in order to do all 4 of this, you need at least 1 minute. Well, not at least, you need about between 45 seconds to a minute. So please start concluding when you see the yellow light. And when you see the red light, you should have finished your conclusion, more or less. And only thing remaining is either your call to action or the motivating the audience. That's it. So you will take 10-15 seconds to do that. With that, you hand over back to you. This is how you use the timing, my dear friends. Please don't wait till the red light to start concluding. You start concluding when you see the yellow light. When you see the green light, try to finish the body. If you are not yet finished, that will give you enough time to smoothly transfer to the conclusion, and from the conclusion, it will give you enough time to smoothly transfer the control back to the table topics master. Remember, this is a speech. Opening, body, conclusion, all public speaking techniques apply here, including transitions, proper smooth transitions, including vocal variety, including speed of speaking, including clarity of thought. Everything applies here. Yes, we are answering a question impromptu without preparation, but this is a public speech. All the aspects of public speaking apply here. Stage usage. Last year, I remember I got an amazing topic and I actually had fun with the topic. The topic was it had something to do with a cave, and it had something to do with treasures inside the cave. And the topic was, only if you open the door to the cave will you be able to unearth the treasures inside. That was the topic. Now, this is a betting wicket. Everybody can answer in different ways. Some people can say they got educated because they went to university. Some people can say they became rich because they went down a particular path. I selected something very nice. I said about how I selected my wife. And halfway through, I even got to very gray area, and I was enjoying it because the audience was enjoying. And I even spoke about words in a bit of a double meaning way, and I stopped at just the borderline of where it turns into discomfort to the audience. I really enjoyed it. I saw the audience enjoyed it, and needless to say, I won it. Let me put it this way, I was using the cave as an analogy or a metaphor for my wife. That's all I will say. I'll not say anything else. I will let your imagination run wild now, my dear friends. All right, there you go. So there you see, this kind of stuff can happen as well. All right, so did this, start the conclusion, call to action, and at the end I told everyone, this is just one example. You have so many things, and I gave all those quick examples: education, business, job. You may get to a cave, but you will never know what the treasures it holds until you open the cave and go inside. So don't be scared. You will always get success. And so that's a call to action. That's motivate them to improve their lives. Okay, friends, so that's about the timing. Now let's get to, in the last remaining few minutes, how do you prepare for table topics? You say, table topics? Prepare? I thought this is unprepared. This is impromptu. How the hell can you prepare? No, you can prepare. That's the crucial part. You have to prepare for table topics. I spent the entire last year preparing only for table topics. Trust me. And I will share with you all the techniques I used in just last 1 year alone, so that you can actually try them out for yourself. How do we prepare for table topics? Rule number 1. Books are there with a reason. Read them. Google is there with a reason, not to look for unnecessary things, look for knowledge. Newspapers are there with a reason. Use it. Articles are there with a reason. Use it. Authors are there with a reason. People who you subscribe to and people who you oppose. Read. It's okay. Now, even I go to the extent of actually reading multicultural, multi-religious text as well. Not just sticking to my beliefs. I even go to other belief systems, because why not? Why not? If that is going to give me, first of all, knowledge and a wider mind frame and giving me ammunition for the next table topic, why should I lose that opportunity just because I don't like it? Now, let us say LGBT. And lots of us have differing views about LGBT. Some of us are very pure. No, we don't like LGBT. Go read about LGBT. Not that I support it, but I don't oppose it either. And I will read widely about it. In fact, today I went for a meeting for a national conference that we are having. And one of the speakers is somebody who is a strong proponent of LGBT. And I was one of the supporters of bringing that person into the conference. Open your minds to differing views. You will find it useful at the right time. So this is tip number 1, my friends. Simple as that. Read widely. Read things you like. Read things you don't like. Read about anything and everything that comes. Don't spend your time on TikTok and all this nonsense, wasting time looking at people dancing, unless it's going to help you with your next table. Point number 2. Become familiar with quotes and proverbs. Mr. Timer, sorry, I will just need 2 more minutes to finish this. So thank you. I saw the red light. You become familiar with quotes and proverbs. And again, these days, it's very simple, very easy, because we have got all the quotes and proverbs literally at our fingertips in our phones. You can put quotes about sunlight, you will get quotes about sunlight. You can say quotes about countries, quotes about war, quotes about peace, about friendship. And just become familiar, because you never know, maybe your table topics master also does the same thing to bring the topic to the contest. You will be able to nail the topic if you're already familiar with it. Building familiarity with topics is rule number 2. Rule number 3, reflect on personal events and experiences. You have lived a life. Now, in my case, I'm 52 years old. So from the day I was born until now, my life, so many things have happened. In fact, in my case, even before I was born, certain things have happened. I put all of that knowledge into my repertoire. Reflect on personal things, happy things, sad things, frustrations, first day in school, my first toy, my first girlfriend, my first motorbike, my first car, first country I visited, first time I fell down, first time I fractured myself. All of these are experiences. My first pet. Reflect on them, because these will give you ammunition for your responses. And finally, on a random basis, pick a random topic and try the different techniques. Because remember, on the stage, you have like 5-6 seconds to decide, am I going to use experience? Am I going to use before, after, pro and con, past, present, future, cause, effect, remedy? You have few seconds to decide. That has to become muscle memory. So the only way it will become muscle memory is if you try different topics, different techniques for the same topic, then your brain will know, for these kind of topics, I should go experience. For these kind of topics, I need to go past, present, and future, and so on and so forth. You need to build that muscle memory. You have to practice. Right? Last year, I did a particular practice Every day in the morning, I used to pick the newspaper and take one newspaper article, something that happened that particular day. After I read that newspaper article, I look for a quotation related to that article. So I am doing it inverse. In table topic, we get the quotation, we have to think of a story. Now I get the story and I am looking for a quotation. So I am putting extra connections in my mind, my friends. I did this for one entire year. I have a small notebook which I started maintaining. So I took a newspaper article and I looked for a quotation. And guess what? When you do this for 1 year, you have 365 stories and 365 quotations already linked. Think about the power of that. And you just do one a day. It will take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You can do this as a daily practice. And trust me, you will see that how strong that practice is, my dear friends. Fine. So just to quickly summarize, those are the 4 ways: read widely, become familiar, reflect on personal events and experiences, and then try different techniques. And then this is that extra step that I did the entire last year. Take a story and then link it back to a quote. So you could teach your brain to do the inverse, then automatically it becomes also able to do the correct way forward. Friends, that's about it that I have, all the techniques and tips and tricks that I have learned over the past 10 years as a Toastmaster, specifically concentrating on table topics. And I would be happy to take any questions if there is time. If there is no time, I will hang around in the meeting and we can take these questions in the chat as well. And Mr. Toastmaster, back to you, sir.
We have 3 minutes. We can have a question and answer for you. Anyone having any questions, please?
Everybody seems to be dumbstruck. Or can you please go that phase, one of the two? Sorry, Toastmaster Emmanuel Williams, I know you were like this. All of a sudden came for this, shoot, this guy is looking at me, I think.
Yeah, no, actually, I wasn't really looking to ask you a question, but I found it very, very useful, very logical, very pertinent. And oh my God, you have such a rich vocab. I really envy you. Clearly shows that you read a lot. So there's some good things that I really enjoyed about. In fact, this is the first contest workshop that I've actually paid attention to properly. So thank you so much. It was very, very useful. And yeah, that was so I enjoyed listening to you your entire talk. So thank you.
And I didn't mean to pick on you. I just saw you move.
No, it's absolutely okay. It's absolutely okay. Please pick. I'm here to pick on others today, so let others pick on me. Please go ahead.
Thanks for your feedback. Grateful. Thank you. How about my good friend, Mr. Vivek Tilakan? You always have something to say, my dear sir. I have learned a lot from this gentleman, by the way, Mr. Vivek Tilakan. A lot, including what I did today with this presentation. I asked him one day, how do I run around the screen? And he told me how it should be done.
Okay,
Thanks
so that's an IT kind of a thing. That's not a content kind
you
of a
added
thing.
value to me, boss. I'm telling you, my dear sir, you added value to me. Why shouldn't I give you credit for it?
You know, Farhaz, I'll just appreciate you in a different manner. I mean, WMC is, we have a legend in table topics, Dr. Babu. So coming to this club and then impressing us, that means you really got apka paas mal hai. You have something apart from the white hair.
Dr. Babu is my good friend and my mentor and my doctor as well. So I respect him a lot.
Faraz, actually, we heard this presentation a couple of years ago, if you remember, in our club. That time, it was a huge discussion in our group. The next day, that how did Faraz manage to run all over the screen? So impressive, so great it was. So it was a huge thing. So it's nice to listen to the same presentation once again. Thank you very much.
And now you know who helped me to run around the screen. It's Vivek Tilakan, the one and only.
He's our PPR now.
He even taught me another thing on WhatsApp. I once sent him an ask from where can I find that Homer Simpson going into the green bush those days.
Yeah.
I was that IT savvy. You can imagine. And he said, it's easy, bro. It's just over here.
Quite impressive.
Thank you, Abdurrahman sir. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Well, we have quite a few, what do you say, new Toastmasters. I would ask any one of them to give a question because there's evidently a divide in WMC right now among the people who have seen your presentation and those who have not. So please take the opportunity and ask. Don't let us hijack your moment.
DTM, Farhaz, I just have one question. You said the first way to prepare is to read, and that's the only thing I don't do. Like, in fact, the messages that even come on my WhatsApp, I quickly glance through it and then I reply back to people. So I think it's pretty obvious that I'm never going to do well at table topics now.
No, no, that's the negative way of looking at it, sir. You don't have to be a master reader to start off, but you need to start reading. Let me put it that way. Don't compare your reading of WhatsApp message and responding to that to more conscious knowledge gaining, or the intention is to gain knowledge kind of a reading. Those are two different things. WhatsApp, more often than not, it's an informal messaging system. Even if you muck something up, it doesn't matter. You don't need to have spellings correctly. You don't even need to have grammar and so on. So that's one way. Don't compare that as your reading habit. You truly have a reader in you. You need to get that fellow out and read with purpose. You will become a good reader. And you don't need to read hours and hours every day. Spend 20-30 minutes a day. That's all. All of these things I told you are just practices, daily practices. You don't need to do it for 24 hours. So looking for quotations, you're not going to spend 8 hours a day looking for quotations. That's not productive. But if you spend 5 minutes every day looking for quotations, that's productive. I have books here in which I write all of those. I spend 5 minutes and just write them down. And then that way I actually have a nice book full of various quotations. 5 minutes. So see, it's not a lot of investment of time on your part. And if you think it is a lot of investment of time, then you're going down the wrong track because you're making it as a burden to yourself. It shouldn't be a burden, it should be an enjoyable exercise. So make it less burdening, less as a burden and more as like a daily practice that will add to you. Okay, brother. Good luck to you, man. Don't worry.
Right, I got a sudden question.
Oh, shoot.
Basically, approaching table topics as a kind of a competition, and if you want to seriously think about it, if you're gaming it, you will find that among 10 questions that you come across, 7 to 8 of them you are familiar with in one way or the other. You see these things running around, right? It is the 3 others that come out of syllabus. I'll put it that way. So do you develop your positions beforehand about these common topics that you may come across and keep it on aside so that you can reel out at that moment? I mean, develop a position, not necessarily an answer.
Yeah, I have seen people do this, and I have also seen people do this even to the extent of coming up to district finals and doing things like this. I'll tell you what will happen with this. Yes, it's a smart way of doing it. You have a certain thing, you work on those. The risk of doing something like this is when you get on stage, subconsciously you may appear not sincere. Credibility of your response can sometimes go down, and judges are smart enough to identify the difference between this. So that's the only risk. However, if you think that you can actually get onto the stage and pretend to be sincere even with this approach, then nothing wrong in that. Because see, end of the day, when you go to a contest, the whole idea is to win. That's it. Let's not kid about it. We are not going to contest because we like to teach people or train people. We go to win. That's why we go for contests. Otherwise, you will not be contesting and wasting time. So if you think this is the way forward, then you will also have to make sure that other aspect, the risk of it, is taken care of. As in, you get on stage, you actually have a repertoire of about 8, 9, or let's say even 15, 16 stories which you are somehow planning to throw around. You should try and appear sincere and confident when you are doing it, without giving that slightest hint of being kind of a pre-prepared or rehearsed basis. So that's the only risk. If you are able to manage that risk, go ahead. I don't favor it. I don't do it that way. And that is because, as I said, I go through this daily practice and I actually have enough of stories to talk about. Enough of stories. Like even 3 days back at that club contest, the topic was not contest, club meeting. The topic was, do you feel, does happiness come from gratefulness, or does gratefulness come from happiness? Sorry, does gratefulness come from happiness, or does happiness come from gratefulness? Please comment. Not gratefulness, the word is gratitude actually. So does gratitude come from happiness, or does happiness come from gratitude? You see, so then you have to think about what you're going to answer. Are you going to talk about a situation where because I am happy, I am grateful, or I am grateful because I am happy? Sorry, the other way around. You see what I mean? And that topic, if you get a topic like that, you cannot really prepare and go. You need to have a sincere answer because it's a highly philosophical point. And trust me, when I got the story that I should say that, and as I said it, I could see the energy in the organization, in the club, all come towards me. And as I finished and sat down, the table topics master came and said, that's an international speech material, bro, develop it. So you see, you can't have, if you follow that technique, you will not get these inspirations as well, bro. So try it out with the risk factor in mind.
Again, definitely, ultimately at some stage, why is table topics done? Table topics done is to actually portray your thought process, basically whether you grasp the question and whether you can express your thoughts in a concise manner. Of course, when you freestyle each and every time and you don't program yourself, of course you will not be caught with your pants down. Definitely,
Yeah.
I'll put it like that.
Yeah. And programming yourself is actually a good way of describing it. Do you program yourself to have just 16 or 20 stories, or do you program yourself so that you can think about any story related to the topic? That's the distinction. So one is a very limited way of training yourself. The other one is a much more broad and wider way of training yourself. Oh, somebody says shut up.
It's the president who is saying, you know what, enough. Now fight virtually. You're done.
Thank you, friends. All the best to you all.
Thank you so much. Definitely, there will be more questions. I'll send it to DTM Farhaz, and I'll share the answer.
Well, thank you for the enlightening workshop, DTM Farhaz Farouk. We clearly have learned more than a thing or two. Moving on, it's usually the most dreadful day during our school days, thinking of the results and the report cards. Well, unlike the monsters in my memories, we have here with us beloved Toastmaster Roy to help us understand how the academic session has turned out to be. I welcome Mr. Roy to take over the educational session.
Toastmaster of the day. Before that, can we give the certificate of participation to our presenter?
Oh, yes.
One moment, please.
Well, I request our VP peer, Toastmaster Vivek Tilakan, to hand over the certificate of participation to our esteemed guest.
Thank you so much, Farhaz, for a great workshop, and kindly accept the certificate of appreciation from WMC Toastmasters.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Sorry, Farhaz, my Zoom is not up to date. so I was struggling to share. Go ahead, Don.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, teachers and students, please welcome Toastmaster Royce Currier to fire up the evaluation session.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Sean Samuel. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. What a fantastic meeting we are enjoying now. Today, we all took a nostalgic trip back to the schoolyard, channeling our inner 13-year-olds. As your invigilator, it's my pleasure to evaluate how our classes performed today, from the opening bell to the final dismissal. Now, let's begin our evaluation session, and I hope the tag team is ready. Today, we are privileged to have top-tier evaluators who will guide and nurture our speakers with their feedback. Much like dedicated teachers in the classroom, they will skillfully balance praise with constructive insights to help the students grow. First, we have Toastmaster Murali Udayakant, a remarkable listener, keen observer, and an exemplary evaluator. He will be evaluating Toastmaster Sitara Sridharan's speech, Tale of Two Cities. Let's welcome Toastmaster Murali as he shares his valuable feedback.
Mr. General Evaluator, just a second, please. If you don't mind, can we know the timing of the speakers?
Yes, timers report for those three speeches, please. Toastmaster Subramanian Veerabhadran.
Toastmaster Subramaniam, you're still on mute.
Sorry, I was speaking actually. So the speaker one, Sitara Sridharan, she took 6 minutes, 31 seconds. And the second speaker, Dr. Saji Kumar, he took 7 minutes, 1 second. And Dr. Surabila Patali, she took 7 minutes, 33 seconds. Yes, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Subramanian. So now let's welcome Toastmaster Murali Udayakant.
A Tale of Two Cities. I thought this was going to be a book review. general evaluator. You know, the purpose of the speech was to come up with, write a good speech, define a speech, and then have it presented. This is the purpose, and I think, to my knowledge, the speaker did this absolutely well. You know, when I was looking for I was thinking that the topic selected was going to be something like a book review. She came up with a twist and brought in her personal story. I'm a big fan of personal stories. The way she presented, there was this nostalgia in the way she did. She brought in things of small, minute details on how she got married, and then moving on from one city to the other city and explaining those small little differences that actually are a big difference when you look at it from a different perspective. The speech was well organized, especially choosing a topic is important because that gives you the ability to write a good presentation, a speech, and then have it presented in a very comfortable way. The transition was excellent. So well organized. I also like the gestures because she used her hands while she was talking, because that brings in an added value to the speech. Jewelry or the sari, when she made those movements with her hands, which was pretty good. And I think the ability to conclude with a message of having compassion was also an excellent way forward. Timing 6 minutes and 31 seconds, pretty good. Could have used up a little more, brought in a little more stories. As for my suggestions, this is a Zoom thing, and I believe that when you speak, you look into the camera, so you are connecting with the audience on the other side. I don't know whether you did refer to your notes on and off, which I felt was something that looking at the eye moment. You had an opportunity to change your vocal voice when you spoke about the two people being addressed as black and white. There you could have shown a little more of action of being astonished. How could they do this? That kind of stuff. The other one that I want to recommend was knowing your audience. Sometimes we have this habit that we believe that everybody understands where we come from, but then there are people from other cities as well. So you should look at the audience, and adding some humor also helps. To summarize, the speech met the objectives of having a purpose defined, and it was well presented. Use of vocal variation could have been one of the thing that you look at, and trying to add a little bit of humor too. Otherwise, you are excellent. And I don't think this sounded like a second speech. You are a pro. All the best with your future speeches. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Murli. Our next evaluator is Toastmaster Vivek Tilagan, known for his exceptional eye for detail. His insightful and precise feedback consistently adds great value to our speakers. He'll be evaluating Know Your Chicken by Toastmaster Sajikumar. Let's welcome Toastmaster Vivek.
Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. What this actually says is, if you seek knowledge, sometimes it takes you to danger, but when you do find it, the rewards would be great. This is the proverb, or this is the words that remained in my mind after listening to Dr. Saji's speech. There are a lot to like about it, but let me run through them one by one in the same acronym that he has used, KFC. Let's start with K, which is knowledge. Dr. Saji, your speech was completely a myth-busting speech. I will speak very confidently of that because I know for a fact that Toastmaster Don hates eating chicken primarily because he's thinking it's hormone fed and X or Y or Z. So it was, imagine my pleasure watching you, bomb his myths one after the other like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The second thing, throughout your presentation, you had the funny graphics, you had elements that could keep us entertained. This began right from the beginning when you showed Mommy and Sonny arguing about the chicken and using that as a springboard to walk into your content. So I felt the same way like how I always feel when Dr. Saji walks onto the stage, which is a myth busting is in order, and I was not disappointed to see that once again. Now comes the KFC, where I'm going to say F as foe. Foe, not as in an enemy way, but as in something that you need to look out upon. Let's go back to what the project was supposed to be. It is a presentation mastery project. I had to ask myself, do you really need a PowerPoint to give the speech? You could give all of this without the pictures, without the graphics, and you could give your speech as it is. Why do we actually use presentation software? We use it to show graphics. We use it to show sources. We use it to show either graphs or something that we need to show data about. This is what I was actually looking for in the presentation slides. How is it that you could portray data that you cannot really speak about? I would have loved to see this also in your speech. So to summarize, I loved the way how you had presented the speech. I loved the tidbits, the funny graphics, and the myth busting. What I thought could be improved upon is actually illustrating the presentation for what it is supposed to be. Dr. Saji, keep trailing in this, keep myth busting. That makes you what you are, the ultimate giver of KFC. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek. Now we have Toastmaster Abdurrahim, a veteran Toastmaster whose positivity and authentic supportive nature are truly admirable. He will be evaluating Toastmaster Surabhila Patali's speech, Beyond Resistance. Let's welcome Toastmaster Abdurrahim as he brings his wealth of experience to the evaluation.
Mr. General Evaluator, my dear fellow Toastmasters, most distinguished guests, and Toastmaster Surabhila in particular. The two very strong points of Toastmaster Surabhila's speech, what I found is number one, of course, her command over the language. Very impressive, the uses of words, the vocabulary, the diction, the accent, the parlance, the usage, everything extraordinary. I must commend her language. Number two is the narrative itself, the way she opened the body, the conclusion, and her penchant to really script the speech, prepare it, rehearse, practice, and deliver it. That the seriousness that she adopts in each and every speech is quite admirable. And today, she narrated two stories, one of her son and one of her mother. Now, going back to the project objectives, Toastmasters International dictates in this project, let's refresh the objectives, is to practice the skills needed to effectively communicate change to a group or to an organization. Now, why do you need skills to effectively communicate change? Because as Surabhila rightly mentioned, change is uncomfortable. Change oftentimes is something that is depressing and demoralizing, and people resist it. That's why you need skills. For example, in our workplace, changes keep happening. Let's take the example of Vivek. Okay, Vivek is a sales engineer. Let's say he has a team of 10 people, 10 salespeople working under him. Okay, and he has a target of 50,000 BD to achieve every month. And he has a team. Now tomorrow, and they get overtime, this team. Now tomorrow there is a CEO message to Vivek that Mr. Vivek, from tomorrow onwards or from next month onwards, there is no overtime for the salespeople. This is a big change for a salesman who's getting 200 BD. 2 hours overtime can be quite demoralizing. It can affect his work performance. It can affect his productivity. It can affect his sales target even. He might even resign and leave the job. Now, Vivek has two challenges. Number one, he cannot hide this fact. It's a fact. He has to inform this team. Number two, how to communicate effectively this change, this unpleasant change to the team without affecting their work performance, without affecting their morale, and without affecting the sales. Because tomorrow Vivek cannot go to the CEO and say, my sale is down to 25,000 BD because you have not given overtime. That shows his incompetence as a leader. So that's why you need skill to communicate that unpleasant change to your team. I understand this is what the objective dictates in this. So as we mentioned earlier, change keeps happening. How to effectively communicate this change positively, constructively, this is your challenge as a team member. So with due respect, to summarize, with due respect to Speaker Surabila's creditable, impressive language skills and her penchant to seriously prepare and deliver each speech, but by scripting the speech strictly according to the project objectives, I think she will go great lengths. I really wish her all the very best, and I'm really looking forward to more speeches in future from her. All the best, and over to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdurrahim. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to all our evaluators, Toastmaster Murali, Toastmaster Vivek, and Toastmaster Abdurrahim, for their time, dedication, and insightful feedback that really helps our speakers and all of us learn and grow. Now, let's turn to our tag team reports. Timer, please have the remaining timers report, please. Toastmaster Subramaniam Veerabhadram.
Yeah, the evaluators, Murli, Udaykant, he took 3 minutes 40 seconds, and Vivek, he took 3 minutes 32 seconds, and Abdul Rahim, he took 3 minutes 40 seconds.
Thank you, Toastmaster Subramaniam.
All are disqualified. Wow.
Thank you. And now let's have the next R-Counter report. Toastmaster Norman Das.
Good evening once again. Toastmaster Emmanuel, he made 6 hours, 4 times so, and he repeated 4 times. Toastmaster Subramanian, he made 8 times hours, so 3 times, and 3 times. Toastmaster Murli, he made 4 times so 1 time, and 3 times. Sitara made 1 time so 1 time. Dr. Toastmaster Saji, he made 1 time down, he made 1 time Abdul Rahim, he made 3 times so 1 time but. DTM Farhaz, he said 3 times Toastmaster Vivek, he made 2 times Back to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Toastmaster Norman Das, for this wonderful report. The next is our grammarians report. Toastmaster Emmanuel Williams.
So, good evening, fellow Toastmasters, Toastmaster of the day, honorable speakers. So it's been a good time evaluating the grammar, and I'll just start with the word of the day. The people that use the word of the day, I think Prabodha, Don, Saji, Surbi, and Roy have all used the word of the day, and Norman as well used the word of the day. So these are ones that I've kept a track of. I'm going to start with some of the positive things that happen in terms of grammar. A lot of metaphors and idioms, music to my ears, the silver lining. So phrases like "I did one better" and "topsy-turvy." Terms like culinary adventure, colloquial, debunk, transcends boundaries. So Sitara, I think there was a lot of nice phrases and terms that you were really used, and I think it was really good. Of course, not to mention the vocab of Farhaz, Farouk, erudite, eradicate, cause and effect, outlandish, repertoire. So I think it was really nice to look. These were the ones that I could make in terms of what I could catch throughout your speech, because I was also making notes from your speech. And let's talk a little bit about what can be improved in terms of the grammar. I think, Don, it was without further ado is what you said. It's without further ado. So you might want to change that. Adieu means bidding goodbye. Let's dive deeper into the details. To have a chicken, to have the chicken, usage of articles is particularly not required when you're using a common noun such as chicken. Project objectives are, singular, plural, and using the articles according to that. He have to go to school. He has to go to school. Again, singular, plural usage of future tense. The word guy was used sometimes. Guy is a slang in case you would like to be more formal in speeches. You don't make ours, you use ours. So maybe that is something the R counter should take in notice. Sentence structuring, a lot of us started with a few words and then we probably go into using other words. We want to structure more sentences using other aspects. So I think that was not really something that is very healthy. If you want to use the right sentences, start with the same words and use the same words. Don't change. After 3 words, you don't get to change the sentence after that, because then that shows a lack of clarity and in the flow of speech. So I think these were some of the observations that I made this evening. And of course, the vocabulary is fantastic by a lot of people, but I would also suggest that keep the language a tad bit low sometimes, because not everybody is very well versed in those kind of words. But otherwise, I did pick up fantastic words from all of you. So that's my report for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Emmanuel. Thank you, the entire tag team, and thank you again for your for our evaluators for playing such a crucial role in our learning journey today. Now, I think the time is running late, so let me quickly go through the remaining. Let's take a closer look to our role players who ensured today's meeting ran smoothly, much like a well-coordinated classroom. Our sergeant at arms, Toastmaster Hita Krishna, kicked off the session with a firm yet friendly tone, setting the stage with clear instructions and welcoming vibe that reminded us of that first bell signaling to start of a school day. The timer was on point, keeping everyone in check. Our counter did an excellent job, reminding us for those little filler words that can distract from our message. Grammarian did an excellent job, keeping us mindful of our language, highlighting creative uses of words, and of course, the words of the day, nostalgia. Then our president, he's actually acted as principal of our school themed meeting today, opened the meeting with the inspiring and motivational story of an athlete that set a positive tone. And he also mentioned that, you know, age is just a number. These were all motivating tone in the beginning. And what I missed to understand that or not that In the agenda, there was a topic agenda adoption, and I think the president forgot to check on that, whether any changes in the agenda or not. And also in the agenda, I could not see the business session. Probably, I don't know whether it is mentioned, I mean, I missed that purposefully or not. Then the Toastmaster of the day. Our Toastmaster of the day was like the recently promoted head teacher of the session, effortlessly guiding us through the agenda with smooth transitions and engaging narrative that kept the theme alive throughout. His energy and enthusiasm were contagious, making each segment we feel connected and enjoyable. I have one thing to recommend, that while inviting evaluators initially, the purpose of that is to mention the objective or purpose of the speech. So the TMOD has to highlight that, please explain the purpose or the objective of the speech. Yeah. And the TMOD's starting was also with an excellent note, starting with tributing to the teachers. So that was excellent. Then speakers were superb. Toastmaster Sitara Sridharan, Tale of Two Cities, talking about two different lifestyle in Kozhikode and Kottayam was amazing. And speaker Dr. Saji Kumar, Know Your Chicken, was, as the, it's bursting the myths, as Toastmaster Vivek mentioned. But I could not see a call to action in a clear manner in that. Then the next speaker was Surabhila Patali, Beyond Resistance. Her vocal clarity was excellent, and facial expressions were also superb. Again, call to action was not vivid. Then our evaluators, Toastmaster Murli Udayakant. Murli's evaluation of Tale of Two Cities was wonderful blend of encouragement and constructive feedback. And then Toastmaster Vivek Tilavan, as usual, he delivered an insightful, thorough evaluation about Know Your Chicken. And then the final evaluator was Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. He brought, again, the positivity and supportive nature, and highlighted the objective of the speech. And in all those evaluation speech, call to action or a strong introduction, apart from Toastmaster Vivek's, was missing. Probably that needs to be looked at. Overall, our evaluators did an excellent job guiding our speakers with their constructive and thoughtful feedback. Each of them brought unique and unique style and perspective, contributing significantly to our collective learning experience today. I would like to also highlight about the table topics workshop presenter, DTM Farouk. He was like the favorite teacher who turns lesson into interactive experience. He not only explained the mechanics of table topics, but also engaged the audience with practical examples, making the session lively and educational. A big hand of applause to DTM Farhaz. As we step out of this classroom today, let's carry forward the lessons of kindness, creativity, and constructive feedback, values that are not only essential at the age of 13, but to continue to serve us throughout in our life. Thank you all for your participation, your enthusiasm, and for making this meeting success. Keep embracing the nostalgia, and remember that we are all lifelong students on this journey of improvement. Have a great evening and see you all in our next class. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Roy. Well, up until we meet next time, this is your Toastmaster for the day, Don Samuel, signing off. Over to you, President Prabodha.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Today, actually, he controlled the meeting perfectly and on time. We are dot 6:30 now. For that, let our Toastmaster of the Day give him a big round of applause. So a quick, I mean, there was no business session. I normally remove that due to the WhatsApp. So, but a announcement is like we finalize an Intercontinental Hotel for our next meeting onwards, and still the discussion going on with Crown Plaza is the same price they are going to give us their venue. Then it will be better. Otherwise, we will continue with Intercontinental. And I think the winner certificates are on the way. By then, let me ask our guests. First, let me call DTM Farhaz Farouk to give how his experience about the meeting.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I joined the meeting halfway through. I missed all the speeches, but going by the evaluations, it looks like I missed some classic speeches. I would have loved to have heard them, but I really like the WMC. I've been to your club physically so many times, like in Bahrain. And after coming back to Sri Lanka, I think I've attended a few times like this online. And I always have nothing but lots of respect. Lots of my good friends are members there, and lots of people I respect a lot as well are members there. And of course, my most favorite doctor in Bahrain, Dr. Babu, is one of your members. I can never forget him. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to joining your future meetings whenever time permits. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, DTM Farhaz, for gracing us actually. And I was thought about to ask you about the evaluation WhatsApp as well, but it's time. I mean, at a time, 2 WhatsApp, it's very difficult. So let them digest first this table topic 1, and then we'll go for the evaluation later. Thank you so much for joining. And DTM Farouk.
Thank you, Mr. Prabodha. It is always a pleasure to come to WMC. I know this is the first time I have always been invited SSL before. This is the first time I'm just sitting without a role and really enjoying the flavor of the meeting, And congrats to all of you for a well-conducted meeting and wonderful speeches today. And I think you are on time. That's a great achievement for you. Thank you very much. I'll be back again surely with you. Thank you.
Thank you. You can come to our physical meeting as well.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
The certificates ready? Oh, wow. Okay. Give me something. Okay, so the certificates are ready. So now, let me share the certificates. Best Speaker Award goes to Toastmaster Sitara Sridharan. Now, Best Timer Counter Grammarian Award goes to Toastmaster Emmanuel William.
Best Evaluator Awards goes to Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. And Best TMOD, G and TTM, Toastmaster Don Samuel. Well done. Thank you so much. And I think that's it. Any members want to say something before I conclude? Or is that okay? So let me conclude the meeting. Our next meeting will be on 20th September at Intercontinental. This meeting number 490 is adjourned.
By the way, before we all of us switch off and go, can we have one more photo with, the thumbs up,
Yes,
so
please,
that
please,
Farhaz is
please,
here?
Because yeah, that's what is.
Actually, one had logged out immediately. I don't know who logged out. Dr. Saji, Anita, Surabila. Okay. Yeah. Or I would have photoshopped them. All right. Put your thumbs up. Thank you. I got it. That's
so
it.
Much. Now it's open.
See you, everybody. Good night.
Good night and have a nice weekend.
Thank you so much.